Has the future predicted in 1984 come true? Any avid reader will tell you that books have a magic that nothing else can dare to replicate. Entire worlds can be written, printed, and then read by countless people whose lives could potentially change forever. But while some novels are made to entertain, others are made to be a deep reflection of our society and the possible dystopia that it's becoming. George Orwell's 1984 is no exception. In fact, there are several ways in which his novel has come true in our modern society, even though the book was published in 1949. Curious? Click through this gallery to see how Orwell's literary world is a reflection of true life today. Class division. The first major way that 1984 has come true is through the development of a hierarchical society. No matter the country, economic inequality has created massive class divisions between the wealthy and the poor. Fear-mongering. In today's climate, the fear that people have of each other and their governments are quite powerfully reflected in 1984 as well. Some policies and media agencies intentionally distort information so that people are constantly afraid. Nationalism and authoritarianism. The rise of nationalism and authoritarianism across different nations reflects the tightening grip of ruling authorities, as well as the curbing of individual freedoms portrayed in Orwell's novel. Totalitarianism. In 1984, totalitarianism reigns supreme, and free speech is something entirely unheard of. The regime exerts infinite control over the economy and culture of the people, which some have argued is already unfolding in parts of the world today. Government control of information. There are continuous attempts by modern governments to control access to information and suppress dissent online through internet regulations. This also takes the world one step closer to the totalitarian society of Orwell's book. Mistrust of authority. The growing mistrust of government and its institutions, such as the police and educational establishments, resembles the skepticism depicted in 1984. Resistance and rebellion. Even while governments attempt to suppress dissent and control thought, there are resistance movements that defy the authoritarian regimes. They try desperately to uphold the ideals of freedom and democracy. Mass gatherings and rallies. On the other hand, there are people who inspire mass gatherings designed to heighten emotion and loyalty to the ruling regime. This resembles the 2 minutes hate sessions of Orwell's novel. State control of media. Much like our modern society, 1984 shows how media outlets and journalism are overtaken by the ruling class in order to have control over the spread of information. Social engineering. The manipulation and control of the media also ensures that the social behavior of society is engineered and supervised. People are made to believe things that may not necessarily be true. Bias in algorithms. The manipulation that you see in 1984 can also be found on social media platforms and search engines in the real world. Algorithms reinforce existing biases and control the narratives that are presented to users. Surveillance cameras. CCTV cameras are used as a means of controlling a population, thus ensuring that supposedly improper behavior is monitored, corrected, and even punished. Mass surveillance technology. In a similar vein, there is the rapid increase of technology that can be used to watch people in other ways, such as cellular devices that unwittingly record without consent. This creates what is called Big Brother mentality, where people feel as though they are continuously being watched. Perpetual war. The concept of perpetual war, which is used to maintain power and control over the population, bears resemblance to ongoing conflicts and military interventions in the real world. Censorship and book banning. The real-life censorship or banning of literature that is deemed politically sensitive or subversive is a reflection of similar tactics used by the ruling regime in 1984. Erosion of individual rights. In Orwell's novel, individual rights and civil liberties are slowly eroded in the name of security and stability. This isn't far from the current political climate that permeates society today. Social scoring systems. Some countries have implemented social credit systems, where individuals are rated based on behavior and compliance with government standards. This is a social control mechanism that can be seen in literature as well. Government control of education. The ideologies of governments are shaped into the very education and curriculum of schools. Information that would cast negative light on government agendas is removed from teaching programs, so that citizens become more compliant. Manipulation of history. Much in the same way that governments can control education, they also have the power to rewrite and manipulate the way historical events are narrated. Newspeak and thought control. The very language that people use in 1984 is controlled, and a new dialect called Newspeak was created. This dialect subdues individuality and prevents critical thinking. This rather shockingly reflects the world's current situation, where political correctness is rising through the ranks. Doublethink. The acceptance of contradictory beliefs or ideologies, as exemplified by political doublespeak and misinformation, parallels the concept of doublethink in Orwell's novel. Propaganda. The dissemination of propaganda through media channels and social media platforms influences public opinion and shapes perceptions. Privacy concerns. Growing concerns about privacy and data collection by modern governments and corporations resonate with the themes of surveillance and control in 1984. Loss of individual autonomy. As privacy is diminished and social behavior is engineered, people start to lose their sense of individuality, as well as their ability to move through the world freely and autonomously. Not only is this reflected in the party in 1984, but also in real life. Persecution of dissidents. The targeting and persecution of political dissidents, whistleblowers, and activists who challenge authority mirror the repression of dissent that can be seen in 1984. Corporate influence. In today's world, corporations have the power to influence government policies, similar to that seen in Orwell's novel. Fear of outsiders. Orwell's literature quite prominently portrays how fear of foreigners and the other can lead to xenophobia, much like our current society. Scapegoating of marginalized groups. In order to divert blame from the government and its corporate alliances, societal issues are pinned on marginalized groups and dissidents. If you agree, please give your opinion in the comments section. Thanks for watching and keep watching Mind Mosaic for more enlightening chapters from the world.